You are now entering Armbar Audio.
Hello, and welcome to Armbar Audio, episode 14. I'm Tim Farley, and alongside me is my trusted companion,
John Turner. What's up, everybody?
Woo! It's our first time being a visual podcast.
Hell yes.
And John and I are very excited. Anyways, we're going to get into two big topics and then segment away. The first thing I want to talk about is this whole WWE Crown Jewel Saudi Arabian stuff. We have this issue that's a political issue. And what I think is the people are saying that WWE shouldn't do this. They should pull out, blah, blah, blah. Now, do I think the act is heinous? Yes. Do I stand and support Saudi Arabia? No. Do I think the deal should have been made at all? No. Do I think WWE went into the deal with good intentions in helping their culture? Yes. Do I think that them pulling out now will do any good? No. You have a diplomatic situation where Canada and Western allies, Trump, everybody is putting sanctions on to Saudi Arabia. That's what politicians do.
Yeah.
Activists also do things like that, and journalists. But the WWE is an entertainment business. If they were to pull out, what would the repercussions be? The diplomatic situation may turn into a militaristic situation. So, I think all the flack coming down on Vince McMahon and company is a little, what would you say, misdirected?
It's unfair, I would say.
Yeah, it's misdirected. You agree with all that, John?
Yeah, I do. I just... It's a really tough situation to call because they went into a 10-year deal. They didn't know that this was going to happen. They didn't know that Saudi Arabia was going to kill a journalist and have it look like maybe the U.S. knew about it the whole time. They didn't know this shit was going to happen.
I agree.
It's like...
I mean, I wouldn't have went in with it in the first place, but
I probably wouldn't have either, but what happened was Crown Prince, what do they call him?
I don't know.
MSJ or some shit, some name that he has.
You know, it's just...
It's like he gave WWE a false image of what the direction of Saudi Arabia was going to be. And I don't know if I would say tricked them into signing this deal, but it kind of is. It's like...
Yeah. More about that kind of stuff.
It was like false advertising.
Yeah. WhatCulture, Cultaholic, or whatever, put out a really good video, and it's going to be in the description.
Yeah.
As well as our weekly match recommendations in the video description. And you can look at that and decide for yourself. We're going to move on from that topic now. So on Monday, I'm sitting at home, John.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like 8:03, 8:05, and I turn on Raw, and I see Roman talking and everything, and I'm hearing words, and I'm not understanding them, and I go to Twitter, and I'm like, I just turned this on. What is going on? Roman Reigns, Joe Anoa'i, or Anuai, or I don't know. I don't know his name.
Anoa'i.
Yeah. He had leukemia 11 years ago. It went into remission and it came back. So he had to relinquish the title, and he's taking time to be with his family and focus on his health. Now, there are a lot of fans out there on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, whatever have you, social media, who... two things. You still want to talk bad about Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
You're a piece of shit. Because this isn't about Roman Reigns. This is about compassion and humanity and Joe, not Roman Reigns.
Yeah, it's not about Roman, it's about Joe.
The second thing is, a lot of fans also, who are hopeful, are saying, oh, when Roman Reigns comes back within a year or whatever, oh, we could book this and we could book that and blah, blah, blah. This isn't something you can figure out the timeline of.
Yeah.
Okay? If it goes really well, it could be like a year. If it doesn't go as well, it could be 2 to 3 years. And I'm not going to talk about the other options because I'm not putting that into the universe. But otherwise, people need to look at this as a real situation, because it is. Leukemia is a form of cancer. Cancer kills, okay? I don't care if you didn't like Roman Reigns using the Shield gimmick. I don't care if you didn't like Vince McMahon's call to shove him down our throats. That's booking, that's creative, that is a character. That is not a man. Okay? What do you have
Makes
to say?
sense to me. Only thing I want to say is I think Joe is going to make a speedy recovery because he's Roman goddamn Reigns. And I think when he does come back, he's going to be the biggest babyface in the company.
And they're going to turn him heel. Because nothing makes sense in WWE.
Because he turned a crowd of haters into a crowd of supportive fans in one speech. And it was really cool to see how mature a wrestling crowd could be. You know what I mean?
I definitely saw more positivity online than negativity.
Yeah, and it's like, and Roman Reigns walks out there and they're booing him and holding up the Roman sucks signs because that's what you do. But then when he started talking, everybody, and when he said what he said, the whole crowd went silent.
Except one person.
So
they said what?
One person.
And that person needs slapped in the face.
Yeah, that's one.
No, it was like at the middle or beginning.
In the middle.
Like they didn't know exactly what he was saying.
Happening yet. Yeah, okay. So, and by the end of it, you had a crowd of people chanting "Thank you, Roman." Not a dry eye in the crowd.
Oh man, I was like,
he walked up there and was met at the stage by his brothers, Dean and Seth.
You could tell Dean was holding it in.
Dean was holding it in. Seth couldn't.
And that made me bawl. First off,
that affected me.
When he started walking down the steps, I thought of his brother, and I started crying. And I was talking to Callie, and I was sounding like, when you cry and you talk, it's like,
yeah.
And I was like, his brother died, and I don't want him to die too. And then I saw Seth, and I was just like, oh my god, this is fucking real.
Yeah.
Because I know that it's bad to think this, but I do not put it past an insane man like Vince to use something like cancer to get someone over. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm sorry if you feel otherwise and you don't like that opinion, but come on. The guy has damned God on TV. He said so many other things. Why put cancer past him?
He used Jerry Lawler's heart attack as an angle.
Right, exactly.
And did an impression of post-stroke Jim Ross on TV.
Exactly.
Like,
so
Vince is a psychopath. It might have happened.
Don't vilify me for being on the fence about it until I saw Seth Rollins' face, okay?
I didn't think that it was a work, as they say. Until I saw Seth, I didn't think it was as serious as it is.
Yeah, okay.
Is how I was.
Yeah.
I said, he'll be out for a couple months. He's at the tail end of this, and it'll be fine. Then I saw Seth, and was like, oh no.
Well, while it was happening...
He's not at the tail end of this. This just happened, and it's going to be a long time.
Yeah. While I was reacting to it, as it was real, in the back of my mind, I was afraid.
Yeah.
That Vince was using it. And then I saw Seth, and it was just all right. So
because he's used questionable things as works before.
So from Armbar Audio to Joe and
Joe's family
and his family, we wish you a speedy recovery and can't wait for you to come back. And I hope you and your family become very closer.
Yes.
So next,
the Dean Ambrose heel turn is a controversial subject.
Yes. So at the end of Raw, the Shield had a Raw Tag Team title match with Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, which saw the Shield win. After they won, Dean Ambrose turned full heel on Seth Rollins. He was talking about him not being a joke. He threw the titles at Seth, saying, "Is this what matters to you?"
Yeah.
Kind of implying that titles don't matter. What just happened with Roman matters more. Who cares if we won or lost? That was kind of... There's like several subtexts to what I think is going on with Ambrose and Rollins. So like a lot of people, like you said, it's a controversial thing. Some think it's distasteful that Vince cashed in for the heat of the moment, turning Dean heel that night. What do you think about that, John?
I can see where they're coming from, but if I'm Roman Reigns, if I'm Joe, I don't want Ambrose and Rollins to remain stagnant until I come back.
I agree.
I think and this is going out on a limb, but who's to say that this wasn't Roman's decision?
It's possible.
It's very possible. And it's something that we've seen coming for a long time. Everybody already assumed that Ambrose was going to be the one to turn.
Right.
When he came back.
And it was too obvious. But on that night, it was not obvious at all.
Not at all.
Because you would expect them to stay together as a unit.
Yeah.
For Roman. But I thought it was genius.
It was.
I think it's great, and you don't have the big dog there right now to be their leader or, the centerpiece of the Shield. So do what makes money, man. Ambrose versus Seth is money.
Money. I will say that I must have missed something. I don't know why the match wasn't thrown out when Braun got involved.
It's possible that the ref didn't see it. It's also possible that Vince McMahon doesn't care.
Yeah,
and
well,
wanted
that's
the end
true.
result
But
anyway,
when you said the referee thing, I was like, the referee didn't notice Drew just being gone.
It's wrestling, man. Don't use logic. Do not use logic. So anyway, transitioning from Raw to NXT, the Revival have been very vocal on Twitter lately.
Very.
And I don't think I've ever seen a performer or a wrestler promote their match on WWE Main Event. Okay? They promoted their match with Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. And I was like, these guys are trying. They're really trying here. And then after that, a fan asked, "What team do you want to wrestle?" And they said the Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks responded, "Let's do it." And then the other, Matt, said, "Maybe one day." And they said, "Let's do it right now." So it's like either the Revival are upset about being stagnant in WWE, and maybe they're looking to go elsewhere, or maybe it's just stuff to get us talking. Either way, it wasn't like the FTR stuff. It wasn't a negative exchange. It was like a positive exchange, like how Kenny Omega, Cody, the Bucks want to change the wrestling world. It seemed like the Revival embraced that, kind of.
It felt exactly the same as the Jericho and Kenny Omega thing. It felt like the same sort of exchange.
Well, Jericho was pulling a work, and he was shitty. You know, like he was negative.
But what I mean is, like, could we see Vince allow this to happen like he allowed Jericho and Omega to happen? I don't think the revival is as established.
they'd probably be like, can we do this? And they'd be like, Vince doesn't even know who you are. Go ahead.
Go for it. Go for it.
Oh, that's sad.
But could the Elite be coming to NXT?
It's possible. I mean, I just saw a press conference.
There are so many hints being dropped, and I can't tell if they're just teasing us or if they're foreshadowing.
I can't tell either. But, like, the most recent thing I saw was the press conference between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kenny Omega. And Kenny said at the end, if the Ace is back and he wins, then goodbye to this company. So, if Hiroshi Tanahashi wins at Wrestle Kingdom, then that's a big indicator.
Well, then we need to pay very close attention to Wrestle Kingdom.
I mean, Cody has said that he would never go back because he can't take direction anymore.
But he also said that if they leave, they're leaving as a unit.
Right, and Adam Page has been approached, and he turned a contract down because he wants everybody
quote unquote turned it down. We don't know if he did or not. Allegedly.
Right. Allegedly.
We don't know if he was
allegedly.
Honestly, we don't even know if he was really approached. That could all be talking too.
Right. So who knows? But it's an interesting time to be a wrestling fan. So NXT. I'm not going to go through everything.
Even though it was damn good this week.
Even though it was damn good.
NXT UK is good too.
I don't know. Should we go through the whole thing? We're only 17 minutes into this fucker.
I don't think we have to. There were some important bits that we should get to, though.
Yeah, the beginning was great with the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole and company talking about how NXT is the Undisputed Eras and not the fans, and they run everything. And EC3 came out and told him, Adam Cole, that he doesn't deserve a shot at Ricochet. And this led into a match. It was a very good match. EC3 pulled the upset win, which subsequently led to a dismantling of EC3 by the Undisputed Era. Oh. And they took it all the way to the top of the ramp. And just as it seemed it was over, Bobby Fish, who has just come back from a leg or ankle injury, took a chair and smashed it symbolically onto EC3's leg, which I thought was poetic justice. At the beginning of the show, we have William Regal telling a bunch of security guards to watch out for Aleister Black, as he knows there is a reckoning coming. Throughout the show, we see Nikki Cross do the he's here, he's coming, he's coming.
Nikki Cross is fantastic.
Yes. We got the debut of Mae Young, who won against Aaliyah, and it was great, and it's been a long time coming. We got Ono beating down a Justin Xavier or something like that.
Yeah, that was his name.
And saying how he wants the shiny new toy, and this is not what he wants. Regal better step up the competition. And right after that match, we get a video package for Matt Riddle's debut next week.
King of
Bros. So, what does that mean?
It means Matt Riddle's the shiny new toy.
So,
for a while, I kind of assumed that this was going to lead to a Cassius Ohno and Keith Lee feud.
Yeah, but Keith Lee's already there.
Yeah.
So then...
But he's still pretty new to NXT.
True.
It could have...
Maybe I think they're waiting for Donovan Dijakovic.
I think an Ono and Keith Lee feud would be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Ono's last match on the Indies was against Keith Lee.
It's true.
It was an Evolve. So anyway,
Matt Riddle next week.
The best part of the show happened at the end.
Yes.
William Regal comes down and says he's going to announce the main event for TakeOver War Games, which is happening the night before Survivor Series.
Yeah. And this brings Ciampa to the ring.
Yes. And soon to follow is the Velveteen Dream. And then Lars Sullivan comes to the ringside, but as he's making his way down, he says, "You're all in Lars Sullivan territory," referring to the ring.
Yeah.
He gets on the apron, and Velveteen Dream says, "Before you address the dream, please put on some pants." And Lars starts choking him, and he can't break the choke.
Velveteen Dream.
And then Nikki Cross enters and says he's here. There's videos of Aleister Black just kicking the shit out
dismantling the security team.
Yeah, he makes his way out there.
He kicks the camera guy.
He's making
a
beeline for Regal. Ciampa looks scared. He runs away.
Yeah, Ciampa does.
Velveteen left, and then Lars was coming in through the middle rope, and
he hit him with the Black Mass. Yeah,
he kicked his fucking head off.
Yeah,
and then he gripped up Regal. And he was like,
yeah.
Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Boom! Super kick from Johnny Gargano. Johnny Wrestling.
Grabs
says,
the mic and
I'm
says,
right
I'm
here.
right here. And drops the mic on Aleister.
Now, everyone thinks that is the exciting part. But to me, the way the show ended, Regal didn't look at Johnny Gargano like, oh my God. He stood there with Johnny Gargano and looked down at Aleister Black.
Yeah.
So did Regal know the whole time?
I don't know. But
seems
afterwards, Ciampa tweeted about how proud he was of Johnny. So could we see DIY reform as a villainous faction?
It's possible, man. There was something like after their last match, I said something has to happen with Johnny.
Yeah.
Like, he either needs to, like, move up the roster now, or he needs to basically become, like, if Tommaso's a Sith Lord, he needs to join the dark side.
Yeah.
Whether that's alongside Ciampa or not, doesn't matter to me.
Right.
It's cool if he is, it's cool if he's not. It's just, like, I'm glad that he's a heel now. Because there was nothing else for him to do as a face.
That's true, and I brought up the analogy. Somebody on Twitter was complaining that they turned the ultimate babyface heel, and I said, remember Hogan? Turning the ultimate babyface heel works every time. It always makes an interesting story.
I also think it comes down to the individual. Look what they
It
did
does.
with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
They tried to put him in the Wyatt family. He turned. Huge pop.
Mm-hmm.
What happens whenever bad Gargano gets so close to Ciampa and turns face again?
That's
Huge
true.
pop.
That's true. And the main roster creative team needs to take notes from NXT. 100%.
Yeah, I read an article one time about how Triple H said it's funny that people think that Vince McMahon doesn't know what's going on in all facets of his company.
I mean, he does, but that doesn't mean that the product on Monday nights and Tuesday nights is as good as the product on Wednesday nights.
Correct.
That doesn't mean...
Wednesday nights are awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Wednesday nights, 205 Live, then we got NXT.
100th episode.
Now we've been having Mae Young Classic. We're going to get into the Mae Young Classic, but I want to ask John a question.
What?
Since the Mae Young Classic ended this week,
Uh-huh.
do you think WWE should put an all-female show in that slot?
Yes.
I agree.
I agree.
I love watching 3 hours of segmented show wrestling on the network.
Well,
and I love the idea for an all-women show because they have a plethora of talent.
And for me recently, it's been 4 hours on Wednesday nights because I've been watching NXT UK before I watch the evening content.
True.
Because I work.
Right. I have to catch NXT UK. I usually watch it on Thursday.
Yeah.
Because I'm too...
I mean, honestly, I do usually watch it Thursday. This week, I
doing the
watched
Armbar audio social media stuff, you know,
Right.
you have to be on Twitter, live tweeting and stuff like that, and all that. So, anyway, the Mae Young Classic 2 finished this week, and I'm going to go on record and say it was better than the first.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is our first video, but I have notes on my phone, so don't get all, oh, why is he not looking at the camera the whole time? Oh. So I was very impressed by a number of talent. I thought that Ariel Monroe and MJ Jenkins in the first round stood out
really good
a lot. They had characters down. They, even in defeat, they looked good. I thought that the girl they signed from American Ninja Warrior, Casey Catanzaro,
I was about to say that. I was really impressed by her.
Shit! She is like the female Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
When she would handstand on the top rope and then turn and then do a head scissor.
Yeah.
That was amazing. She has so much potential to be a babyface. I'm heartbroken.
I was really impressed by her because it's very rare to see something in wrestling that you've never seen before.
Yeah, and not just that, but she doesn't have a wrestling background.
Yeah.
She just learned from Full Sail. So it's like, you know, you got the tournament made up of a lot of indie
she
girls.
has the potential to be the next great homegrown WWE talent.
Yeah.
Like Velveteen Dream.
Yeah. I was gonna say I was supremely heartbroken by Tegan Nox getting injured again.
Yeah.
She is another girl that,
even though everybody knew it was coming because the spoilers were out like the day after the shit happened, it was heartbreaking to watch it happen.
Yeah, and she has major potential as a babyface as well. And it was great to see Triple H console her and basically tell her that, you know, this whole injury-prone stuff is BS. And
a lot of people think it happened because she came back too early.
Possibly.
That's what I thought.
Who knows?
She was overcompensating on the good leg.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Which leads me into Rhea Ripley. This young girl...
Fantastic.
We knew last year that she had the chops in the ring, but she has completely overhauled her character at Full Sail University.
Absolutely.
And kudos to Sarah Moto, Sarah Deeb, and Sarah Stock for all their work with all the women involved. But
Serena Deeb.
Serena, yeah, my bad. Too many S's.
Happens.
It was amazing to see her throughout this tournament, especially the Tegan Nox stuff, where she changed her Twitter profile pic to Tegan crying and saying that in honor of Tegan, I'm doing leg day and stuff like that. Like,
no chill.
just great stuff. And the Japanese talent from this tournament, Miko Satomura, Hiroyo Matsumoto, and Io Shirai put on great matches. I will say this: the two finalists, Io Shirai and Toni Storm.
Who do you think it's going to be?
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I think they are both booked similarly in this. Aside from Io, her first couple of matches, her first match against Zaya was a total squash, and that's okay because Western fans need to know what they're getting into. But I feel like Toni and Io were booked similarly as like comeback baby faces throughout the whole tournament. I think
I could see that.
You're asking me who I think is going to win.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Toni Storm.
Toni Storm. See, I agree.
Because I have I don't think they're going to give it to another Japanese talent 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that's.
It also builds
for
for an idea of Io getting mad that she didn't win, but Kari did, and that could make a feud. Also, if Toni didn't win, you would expect her to be the inaugural NXT UK Women's Champion.
Right.
But if you read spoilers, you know that she isn't. So I think Gold
Rhea
is
Ripley.
going to go on.
Yeah.
She is going to win for those reasons. I do think Madison Rayne / Ashley Rayne left too early. She could have been paired up with somebody else in the first round against who she took on, Mercedes Martinez, who also had an amazing couple of matches. My MVP of the entire tournament was Miko Satomura. Every match she had was the best match that week.
Yeah, Miko Satomura is amazing. Like, there's...
Her match with Mercedes Martinez and her last match with Toni Storm are arguably the best female matches this year.
Yeah, I can see that.
Caitlyn looked like she hadn't lost a step.
Yeah, Caitlyn looked good. Madison / Ashley Rayne looked fantastic in her one match. I think it is possible that she had more obligation with Impact and...
No, she's not in Impact. She's with Women of Honor.
What is she doing? Oh.
Yeah, we broke that a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. I don't remember. But yeah, it's hard to say anybody other than Miko is the MVP.
Right.
It's hard.
So I wrote this down. Round 1, my favorite matches were Miko Satomura versus Killer Kelly, Rhea Ripley versus MJ Jenkins, Priscilla Kelly against Deonna Purrazzo.
I really liked MJ Jenkins.
Yeah.
She was fun.
Deonna put on great matches too.
Yeah.
Casey Catanzaro against Rena Gonzalez, Martinez against Rain, Toni Storm against longtime rival Jinny, Karen Q versus Zia Lee. I thought that was a very good match. Both put on very good performances. Zia Lee has come a long way since the first Mae Young Classic.
Yes, I agree.
Mia Yim versus Allison Kay. If Mercedes Martinez and Meiko Satomura didn't happen, I would say this match was the match of the tournament. Hiroyo Matsumoto against Rachel Evers. You need to see that match if you haven't watched. Round 2, Satomura versus Martinez, like I said. Storm versus Matsumoto. Nox versus Nicole Matthews. Mia Yim versus Caitlyn. Out of those, I would say the Miko Satomura match and the Tegan Nox match. In round 2, I was very impressed with Rhea Ripley knowing where the cameras were. She worked those cameras with her facials super well. Tainara Conchi has gotten way better in the ring and persona-wise. She was yelling during her matches and she was just super intense, and I loved it. The quarterfinals, the Toni Storm and the Io Shirai match, which was against Mia Yim and Deonna Purrazzo. And the semifinals, you just watch them. Just watch them. It's great.
Watch the semifinals. It's and I will say I do appreciate that the finals are happening at WWE Evolution, because it would have been spoiled the same as everything else.
Yeah. I also wanted to say I loved how Kari hugged both of them after they won their respective matches, as Toni Storm knows both Io and Kari very well from doing a bunch of tours in Stardom, or World Wonder Ring Stardom, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
I also thought it was funny that Shayna wasn't there. I thought, well, if Kari's greeting the first one, maybe Shayna will greet the other one, but she wasn't. Nope, no way. Also, I love that Hunter gave Miko and he gave Miko the standing ovation after the match, and everyone was saying thank you, Miko, and all that stuff, which is fantastic. Toni Storm's speech seemed legit and not phony. I liked that at the end, instead of getting all mean-faced, Toni and Io weren't like that, because fans are smarter now. They know that they know each other. They know that they're friends.
That's true.
One thing that I didn't like about the tournament, and it's not a big deal, it's just kind of nitpicking. when Michael Cole is allowed to be a wrestling commentator, like on this and Beast from the East and stuff like that, he is fantastic. Yes. He is wonderful. But I don't like the 3-person booth for these tournaments. Every tournament they've had, the UK tournament was Nigel and Morrow. You had Morrow and Daniel for CWC. And last year's Mae Young was Jim Ross and Lita. I felt that the 3-person booth took a little bit away from each match.
I'm just not a fan of the 3-person booth in general.
Yeah, and also, like, as much as I love Renee Young and as much as I love Beth Phoenix, I kind of feel like they were put there to get more experience. And that's okay.
And I love Michael Cole, but maybe it should have only been Renee and Beth.
But they needed someone to anchor them because they're not experienced enough in that position.
Well, I think Renee is. She did commentary on NXT.
A little bit.
I think she's good at what she does.
I think she is too, but she's not on that level of commentary yet.
Well,
she's great at backstage stuff.
Yeah.
She's great at everything she does. It's just this is going to take some more time, and I believe that they were placed next to Cole for Cole to help them gain experience and such, and that's fine.
Well, yeah, Cole's been doing it for 20-some years.
It kind of took a little bit away from the show. That's all.
I don't like that these shows aren't being put on live.
Yeah,
I hate that.
Especially with the NXT UK stuff too.
And because you know that the second anything happens, some dick online is gonna be like, "Oh my god, this happened."
Yeah, and like, if you're a real wrestling fan, you're still gonna watch it. But to like casual fans or people who have no time and have families,
I said this on Facebook. I don't know why. Why would you even read spoilers? It takes away the fun of watching and being surprised.
Yeah. Why ruin it for yourself and other people?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. WWE Evolution, we're going live for on Sunday at 7. So, please tune in with us. We're going to give our predictions for the show.
Yep.
I also want to say that this show has not been promoted like the Crown Jewel show has, and that is wrong. The Crown Jewel thing was in works before Evolution was even started. It's kind of like a lackluster apology to the women.
Yeah.
And that's why we are going live for it, because we
and not Crown Jewel.
And not Crown Jewel, because we feel that this is special. This is more special than the Crown Jewel event.
And I get it. Crown Jewel is bringing in a lot of money, but
I mean, in the history of wrestling.
Yeah, and regardless of any of that, your shows should be promoted chronologically.
Right.
Because everybody was upset that they were pushing Super Showdown and not Evolution, and we said Super Showdown's happening first.
Right.
Totally expected. You're going to get the hype for Evolution after Super Showdown, and then it didn't happen.
They basically did 70% Crown Jewel, 30% Evolution. And it's sad. But, we think that this is a monumentous occasion in the history of pro wrestling. And Crown Jewel is just a glorified house show for the Saudis. Whatever. Maybe it's not a glorified house show. Maybe it's good. Whatever. But
I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm not looking forward to some of the Raw versus SmackDown matches happening in that tournament. But still,
Rey Mysterio has been on fire since he came back, dude.
But Evolution is a big thing.
Right. So we're gonna go down the Evolution card and give our predictions.
Let's start with the NXT UK thing.
Yeah. So it was announced earlier, when Evolution was announced, that the NXT UK Women's Championship would be on the show. But the championship has not been shown on NXT UK yet. So we don't know. First off, is the historic
going to
be represented on the show.
Battle Royal.
Or maybe it'll be a dark match. So as to give
Why is
I
everybody,
don't like to
why
say
is everybody upset
spoilers.
about Battle
So
Royal?
since it hasn't happened, because
they
I don't really
suck.
want
No, they don't. I
and,
like them.
And a lot of these
I don't know.
wrestlers
It's up
could
to
have
you.
been
Do you
put
think-
in better matches with other talent. What?
This
you
is
think
for-
Asuka? Dude, I would love to see Asuka wrestle somebody else. Maybe Ember Moon off of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, they should be going up against Michelle McCool and Layla.
That'd be cool.
Well, anyway, so the names in the match are Tamina Snuka, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Ember Moon, Alicia Fox, Nia Jax. Why is she there? She should be in a match
Against
against
who?
Beth fucking Phoenix.
Where are the feuds, though?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a monumentous occasion.
Maybe Beth Phoenix didn't want to be in the ring. Maybe Michelle McCool and Layla didn't want to be in the ring.
Dana Brooke, Asuka, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Carmella, Lana, Naomi, Tori Wilson, Michelle McCool,
Where's Layla?
Medusa,
Where's Layla, dick?
Molly Holly, Ivory, Kelly, and Maria Kanellis. The winner of the Battle Royal is guaranteed a shot at a championship down the line.
It's gonna be Asuka.
It better,
Nobody's ready for Asuka.
it better be Asuka.
It's either gonna be Asuka or Nia Jax.
What about Ember Moon?
I think they want to put a title on Nia or Asuka.
Nia already had a title.
When?
What do you mean?
Why
when?
was Nia champion?
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss feud?
I don't remember.
Be yourself. Be
Yeah.
happy that you're overweight or not overweight or underweight and ugly and pretty and all that shit.
Well, then Ember should have a Raw Women's title shot.
Right.
I think Nia has a better shot against Rousey, though.
Yeah. We got the 2008 Mae Young Classic final between the Goddess of the Sky, Io Shirai, against the Rock and
Against the
Roll
winner, Tony Storm.
Tony Storm. I'm going with Tony Storm.
Tony.
Did I give who I wanted to win the Battle Royal?
The Battle Royal. I said it's either going to be Asuka or Nia.
And I say Asuka or Ember.
Yeah. So your SmackDown choice is Asuka, your Raw choice is Ember. What?
Then we have the NXT Women's Championship, Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. In the inaugural Mae Young Classic, Kairi Sane beat Shayna. Shayna then came and got the NXT title off of Ember Moon.
Yes.
Kairi wrestled her and won in dramatic fashion with the Bret Hart Roddy Piper move. You get choked, you turn around, you pin them.
Yeah.
So if Kairi wins, Kairi stays in NXT and Shayna moves up. If Shayna wins, the opposite happens maybe. I think Kairi retains. And I think Shayna needs to go up.
Yeah, in that regard, I think a feud between Shayna and Rousey would be awesome. That would involve Shayna.
I think any
going to
feud
Raw.
involving Shayna would be great.
Yeah, yeah.
Have her go to SmackDown and break Mandy Rose's arm. And then have Sonya Deville, who has MMA background,
That's true. That'd be cool.
do something, or you know.
I'm going to predict a spot in this match as well. I think we're going to see a spot that involves the insane elbow being countered into the choke that she does.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really awesome spot.
Yeah.
And if it's going to happen anywhere, it should happen on a monumental card such as this.
I agree. Here's some of the other females that they could have mixed up with the older stars in the Battle Royal. Sasha
You're going to talk
Banks,
about this completely useless 6-man tag match.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just like the Battle Royal. They could have taken people and put them in different situations. That's all.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya against the Riot Squad. I'm taking the Riot Squad, and I'm saying Bayley or Sasha turn on each other because it has to happen. And I'm saying that there's an announcement at this show for a co-branded women's tag team title.
I hope it happens. I want it to happen.
And if that happens, then I take back what I said about Sasha and Bayley.
Yeah.
And Sasha and Bayley win. I don't know, but there's a lot of scenarios running through my head, man.
Who's teaming with Sasha and Bayley?
Natalia.
Natalia.
You know, the woman who used to fart, but she came from like a long lineage of great wrestlers, but they made her fart.
Well, she went from SmackDown to Raw, and that stopped happening.
Yeah.
And usually it's the other way around.
Right. So my scenario is if they announce Raw tag team titles, Sasha and Bayley's team win. If they don't, the Riot Squad wins, and Sasha and Bayley, the powder keg is finally lit.
Yeah.
Then we got Trish Stratus and Lita representing the Attitude Era against Alexa Bliss and her bestie Mickie James. There has been reports that Alexa Bliss may not be there because of a concussion now or symptoms. But I don't think she's gonna miss it. They've been pushing it too much.
And if she does miss it, I think their plan is to use Alicia Fox in her place. Well, I know, but that's who was with Mickie.
I mean, it makes sense.
Raw.
It makes sense storyline wise.
Yeah.
It just Alicia Fox has been there for so long.
Yeah.
Why give her the rub? Because Lita and Trish aren't winning. Alexa Bliss is going to win. Alexa Bliss and Mickie James will win. I mean, Trish Stratus will probably effectively take out Mickie James. But Alexa...
This is a show where they're trying to focus on storylines that they don't have to.
Right. I agree. Then we have the SmackDown Women's Championship. The champion Becky Lynch against Charlotte Flair. In the first ever last woman standing match. Wrong, WWE. It was Asuka versus Nikki Cross in NXT. But you don't like to use NXT storylines unless it fits your agenda on the main roster. Is NXT canon or not? Tell me!
It is interesting because they can tell us all day long how Seth Rollins was the first NXT champion, but then they're completely ignoring a part of NXT history to push the narrative that this is the first last woman standing match.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
If I'm going to give a hot take, they had Charlotte end Asuka's streak and are now using her to erase an achievement that Asuka has.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been very vocal before about how when people look back at the women's revolution in wrestling, the only face they're gonna see is Charlotte Flair, and possibly Ronda Rousey, maybe.
Yeah.
But Charlotte is probably gonna beat her at WrestleMania, or maybe not. If this was a month ago, I would say Charlotte Flair's winning, but there has been a lot of talk that Vince McMahon is super impressed with Becky Lynch and said that she has taken the ball and ran with it.
Well, he should be.
Yeah, and that she has taken the ball and ran with it. And I don't think Becky's going to lose here.
Nope.
But it's hard to say that Charlotte Flair's not going to stand up. So this is going to be a great match, as most of their matches have been. But I'm going with Becky. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going Becky just because I'm more of a fan of hers than I am of Charlotte's. And I think if you want to keep Charlotte looking strong, something has to happen that would take out anybody. Like, it has to be brutal, I think.
What?
No, like, you know what I mean? Like, have something happen that takes Charlotte out early or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like maybe an attack
or
before the match.
Or maybe she does something and mistakenly injures herself.
Yeah.
Then you...
Or the Riot Squad pulls their kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Riot
Squad.
And just they don't want Charlotte to look weak here, but I also don't think that they want to take the title off of Lynch.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Raw Women's Championship.
Ronda Rousey, the champion, against Nikki Bella. I thought it was great that Ronda Rousey...
Who's gonna win, Tim?
In this whole world of don't slut shame and everything, Ronda Rousey slut shamed Nikki Bella, and it was totally cool. about John Cena. So that's ridiculous. You know, how do we say that this shouldn't happen and then it does, and then in this situation it's okay, but in this situation it's not. Whatever. Who cares?
It's wrestling. People are fucking stupid.
At the end of the day, I hope Rousey rips her fucking arms off.
Thank you. Moving on.
That's it, man.
Ronda wins.
I think that. Okay, so going back to Becky and Charlotte.
Yeah.
I think Charlotte, if she loses clean to Becky, she asks to be moved to Raw.
Charlotte?
Yeah. And then that's how you start building the Ronda versus Charlotte feud.
Yeah, that's true. Because that's what it's going to be at WrestleMania.
Or
it has
like,
to be.
What is there? There's Survivor Series and then the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we have TLC in between that. December has TLC.
Have Charlotte win at like on a SmackDown or Survivor Series, and then have Becky win it back, and then since she couldn't participate in the Royal Rumble last year because she was champion, they'll put Charlotte as the winner this year, and she will choose Ronda Rousey.
That works. I like that.
Because Charlotte Flair is...
Because I do like Charlotte.
The chosen female.
I don't want this to come off like everybody hates Charlotte.
I agree.
But a lot of people do. And
no, you know what? I love Charlotte.
Yeah.
I just love Becky Lynch a little bit more right now. And it's okay. You know, people get the title, then they lose the title, then... Who cares? Who cares? So... Well, we usually end with a big question. We're not doing that this week. Maybe we'll do it next week. Maybe we'll retire it. Either way, thank you for following us on Twitter. We are now past 1K followers. We're
awesome.
in the 700s on Instagram. Facebook, we don't really care much about. We do Maneuver Monday.
We're gonna keep it around, but it's just Facebook doesn't grow as fast as other social medias.
We do Maneuver Mondays, Top Rope Tuesdays, Women Crush Wednesdays, Throwback Match Thursdays, and Fantasy Fridays. These are on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Interact with us. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. You know, the more interactive this is, the better we can give you what you want.
Yes.
So with that, John, this is episode 14 and the first episode that is visual. What do you got to say?
I say that I am proud of how far we've come. This room looks awesome.
Yep, and it's getting better. It's gonna get good. More. There's gonna be more. I mean, we got the Pops, which is wrestling. Got 3 rows of wrestling with regular show, Dragon Ball Z. Got the Flash CW, some other randoms. We got some of my Mattel collection over there. You can't see, but there's a melted crayon painting of Batman with 3 versions of the Joker. There's going to be a bookcase behind where John is with a bunch of other stuff. I mean, we're doing this all. I didn't want to go visual without either having a green screen or a cool ass room.
Yeah. And
now we're getting a cool ass room.
And we finally, I decided that the green screen would be too much of a pain in the ass.
Well, yeah, neither of us have background in that bullshit. We basically started this not knowing anything.
Yeah.
And
true.
We have grown. So you're right. It's okay to be proud, and I'm happy for it. And with all that being said, wherever you are in the world, whether it is morning, noon, or night, you have a great one, and peace and love to all of you.
Good night.